Hello everybody, welcome to Square Balloon Actions and Tutorials. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to put together a composite of these two images here, where we have keeping an eye on safety, making sure that the baby isn't left trying to hold a pose like this on their own. So we have a little bit of support up on the top of the head here, and then the wrists here, because we just don't want the baby falling forward or putting them in any kind of situation that might make them jerk suddenly. So we're going to put these two images together to make this one here. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just have a look at both images and decide which one will go on top of the other. Now, not that it really matters, but I'm just going to get my move tool, and I'm going to hold down shift to drag it across to this one. Holding down shift means it'll go in exactly the same place, just directly over it. So let's have a look. So you can see the slight differences between the two. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lower the opacity of this layer down to 50, so I can now see both images. And now I can just turn this top one. I can rotate it. So what I want to do is I want to try and match them up as much as I can. So I'm looking at the fingers and I'm looking at the eyes. So I think that it looks pretty good. So let's just apply that transformation. And we'll bring the opacity back up to 100%. So the next thing now is I want to mask off this arm here. So I'm going to click on that top layer. I'm going to click on my mask icon. And so that's all white. That means everything in this thumbnail here is revealed. But I'm going to start painting with black, and that'll hide everything. For the moment, I'm going to put it up to 100%. I'm just going to start painting. So that's revealing the layer underneath. Let's go a little bit closer. Okay, so there's the top of the hat. So let's see where we are when we get down to there. Okay, I'm going to bring the hat down a little bit further. So we just have to try and get this where the two meet. We have to try and get that right. By flicking between the two, by turning the visibility on and off, we can start getting that right. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Now in this one the eyes aren't as clear, so I'm actually going to bring in the other eyes. Maybe a bit more of the other hat. So it's just a matter of going between the two. Okay, so let's have a look at that. I mean, that looks pretty good to me. I'm going to merge those down. So now we need to tidy up everything else. I'm going to actually duplicate that layer, and I'm going to use the liquify tool just to bring the side of this hat in just a little bit. Okay. And I'm going to recrop because I want to get rid of this bit down here. Bring her more into the thirds. Okay. And now I am going to go in and just tidy up her skin a little bit. So because we were shooting in natural light here, she had these little frown marks, so I'm going to use the patch tool to, and I always patch on a new layer, so I'm going to duplicate my layer. And I'm just going to take those little lines away. And you can see when babies frown up, they often get slightly whiter patches of skin here. And if you get rid of that whiter skin, with a patch as well, that will help make their brow look a little bit more relaxed. Okay. So once that's done, I'm going to take off just those little bits of dry skin. Sometimes as well, when you're supporting a baby like this, you can see little red marks from where the support was, so we can also deal with them, just to help blend them with the skin that's the other skin. That's a good color. So I'm going to run my skin smoothing action. Actually, let me just flatten that down before I run that skin smoothing action. Okay. So the skin smoothing will just even up the skin another little bit. This baby was just a little bit jaundiced as well, and you can see there in the yellow of her chin. So I'm going to deal with that separately too. Okay. I'm going to use my Bye Bye Jaundice action, and I'm going to bring it right down because it's just a little bit yellow under here. So I'm just getting rid of that yellow bit, maybe just a little bit around here. I'm also going to use my red skin removal, and I can see, I'll bring it up to 100%, I can see in the shadows here, it's a little bit of red on the toes. Almost always quite a bit of red that can do with removing in the nostrils on newborns. And then I'm also going to use my eye define. Now she didn't have eyelashes that we could see, so I'm just going to run the eye define along there. It'll just help define that line there. And let me just run the red skin removal again. So once all that's done, let's have a quick look and see what our colour is like. Okay, now I can see a few little wrinkles up here on the back. Now it's not too bad, but I'm just going to, because it's not so bad, I'm just going to do it with a paintbrush. I'm just going to use my Alt, hold down Alt to get a colour from what's there already. And I've got a low opacity on my brush. Just going to start painting there. And all the time I'm holding down Alt to get a new colour from what's there already. So I'm just evening up that. And if any goes over the baby like that, we can either erase it quickly or we can mask. Masking is always better than erasing though. So now that's fine. I think the skin is okay. Actually, now that I can see define there, I'm just going to also go along her fingernails. So I like a little bit of definition in the fingernails as well. And maybe along the texture of the hat. Okay, so let's just use our picker color sampler tool to check the color of the skin. And we can see up here, just have a look up there, whoops, have a look up there. We can see that it needs a little bit more yellow in it. So I'm going to use my paintbrush at 100% opacity. I'm going to click on my quick mask tool, and I'm going to paint all over the baby's skin, because I just want the skin selected so I can affect that only. It's easier to do it that way than to change the skin, change the color of the whole picture and then mask the skin. So I think if you select it first, then you can see it changing just on its own. Okay, so once all the skin is selected, I'm going to press my quick mask icon again, then it's automatically selected, and I'm going to make a curves adjustment layer, and I'm going to take out a little bit of the blue, which adds yellow. I think that's fine. We can make it a little bit more contrasty as well, but let's have a look at that. Let's just check our levels again. Our CMYK values. Yeah, they're much better now. So that's pretty good. We have a magenta of 34%, cyan of 15%, and a yellow of 40%. So that's what we want. So there is a way to merge two images together to seamlessly, so they work well together and tidy up the image in general.